Espera aí, viu? Quando aparecer aqui para mim, eu aviso você. Tudo bem com vocês?
Tudo certo.
Tudo certinho.
Então, professora, o Pierangelo, sei lá como é o nome dele.
Pierangelo.
Pierangelo, ele vai dividir as telas já, né? Ele vai conectar nós dois, né?
Vai, eu já conversei com ele, tá tudo certinho. Ele vai botar vocês dois
certo.
lá na hora, online, aí vai ficar vocês dois ao mesmo tempo.
Pelo que eu vi, ele abre o slide lá e só passa o controle do slide.
Isso, a gente que vai. E na verdade tem uma equipe técnica lá. Eu vou fazer o chair na quarta-feira, e aí eu fiz uma reunião com ele para ele me dizer. Tem todo tipo. A única coisa que eu vou fazer é apresentar, chamar os apresentadores, e aí vão fazer. Aí só que aí, quando eles carregarem a apresentação, vocês vão ficar com, vamos dizer assim, o direito do mouse, né? Para poder passar e tal. Aí vocês vão ter controle. Pronto, começamos.
Não,
mas aí eu vou passando, né? Eu vou passando.
Vocês podem passar, eles vão dar o controle da tela, vai ser para vocês.
Cadê?
Cadê o
Sim, já posso?
Podemos, deixa eu sair pra gente poder começar. Hã?
Tá compartilhada?
Agora.
Tá. Minha tela tá compartilhada, né?
Tá, agora tá. Pronto. Vou sair, viu? Aí vocês podem começar.
Beleza. Hello, everyone. My name is Maicon. I am PhD student at Universidade de Pernambuco, in northeast of Brazil.
And I am Morgana Leite, undergraduate student, also from Universidade de Pernambuco, Brazil.
I will present to you the work entitled Application and Analysis of Record Linkage Techniques to Integrate Brazilian Health Database. My colleagues in this work are Vandes Sampaio, Teolin, and Patricia Endo, professors. This is work in partnership with Universidade de Pernambuco, Fundação de Medicina Tropical, Brazil, and Dublin City University, Ireland.
According to the World Health Organization, tuberculosis is one of the 10 diseases that kills the most in the world. Tuberculosis is also one of the main causes of death of HIV-positive people. Because of that, tuberculosis has been a mandatory reporting disease in Brazil since 2001. This means that cases must be reported to the government when they occur, so the researchers can identify disease trends and predict epidemics.
In Brazil, the federal government is responsible for maintaining and updating several health databases. In this work, we used two health databases related to clinical and demographic data regarding to tuberculosis cases from 2007 to 2018 collected in the state of Amazonas. So the Brazilian government is responsible for database SINA, that means Information System for Notifiable Disease, which contains data on patients diagnosed with mandatory reported disease. And the SIM, that means the Mortality Information System, which contains data on mortality. So the databases are protected by Brazilian law, and the data obtained in this work were authorized by the Ethics Committee.
Before we did our research, SINA had registered more than 30,000 tuberculosis cases. From those, more than 1,000 were tuberculosis deaths. In SIN, the total of deaths in general were more than 200,000, and from those, more than 2,000 were tuberculosis deaths. It is widely agreed that this data does not reflect the true number of fatality records, as many records are not updated on SINA when the patients die. The data from SINA and SIN databases do not have a unique identifier. This makes integration very difficult. For example, If we need to know the patients hospitalized for tuberculosis and who died from tuberculosis, we do not have this information integrated.
So this work in progress presents the application and the analysis of two record linkage techniques, Sondex and Jado, for integrating two Brazilian health databases, SINA and SIM, related to tuberculosis cases. These databases are mentioned previously are in the domain of the federal government and do not have a unique identifier. Therefore, it is necessary to integrate the two databases so that the same person registered in the database is identified in the other database. For that, we have only a few attributes available that will be present below. We plan to use the new integrated database as an input to computational model to predict any probability of mortality death by tuberculosis.
But what is record linkage? Record linkage is a process of identifying a set of records that belong to the same entity, being in the same database in case of duplicated data, or being in different databases, which is our case. We use Sondex and Zero for that. Sondex is a phonetic coding algorithm which uses rules to encode the words according to the English pronunciation. And it uses homophones. It encodes homophones in the same way. So words with a similar sound can be matched despite being spelled differently. I brought to you this quick example. We have two words, John and John. They have the same sound in English, but they are written differently. The first John does not have a H, while the second does. When we apply Sondex to that, it returns the same code for both words, because they have the same pronunciation in English.
And Jado is a partner matching recognition technique which compares words using statistical analysis related to the distance between the match of two strings, where model 1 and model S2 is the length of strings S1 and S2 respectively. M is the number of the character matches between model S1 and the model S2, and the T is the number of transposition, that is, characters that were exchanged, for example, to a typo, such as A and the AS. The statistical distance between the similarity of the strings threshold was 85%.
To use the record linkage techniques, we organized the SIN and SINA column the following way: patient's full name, patient's first name, patient's last name, patient's mother full name, patient's mother first name, patient's mother last name, patient's date of birth, and patient's gender. We apply the techniques to all the columns, with the exception of date of birth and gender. If seven or more of those criteria match, they are considered a potential match.
So both databases have data problems, in which names are written differently, and they also have typos. These problems make the integrating of the data difficult, and they can be solved with the application of record linkage techniques, or also known as data match. And this example, the name Maicon, is at the base of the scene, and the Maicon and the Maicon 2, the same person. The name typed incorrectly is in the Sinan databases. The same person may be in Sinan more than once due to treatment abandonment. When this person returns to treatment, a new registration is performed in the system without any link to the previous registration. So the record linkage techniques indicates these strings as being a single unit of real life that is unified. So In this example, the same person, the same mother's name, the birthday, and the gender. And in this example, we demonstrated how the Sondex integrators technique work in practice. In this worth remembering that is this example, it is possible to find in the CNAM database two records for the same people, so the same person. In this case, the specimens abandoned the treatment when you returned a new record was made in the system without any link to the records preview. We can note that the phonetic encode Sondex has a similarity between all fields in the table. For example, the full name Maicon in the scene has the Sondex M254 code, while the full name Michael in the Sinan has the same code. And finally, Michael has the same code too. Therefore, this column through the Sondex technique is matched. Thus, all other columns follow the comparison. So in the gyro technique, you use an 85 threshold. So if any of the columns have similarity equal to the grade then 85%, so this then we consider is the a match for that column. In this example, all columns have a value equal to or greater than 85%, with the exception for the first name column here. Because which the was 78% similar. That for this column using Jiro, there was no match between the pairs of candidate records. But as we seen in the table, 8 criteria were used. However, we consider that were matched from the record when we found 7 or 8 criteria satisfied. So for this example, the scene record had matched in the two scene records. That is the same person or entity in the real world was recognized. For the results, for the results, Sondex identified 1,812 potential matches, in the JSON 1,830. Of these potential matches, Sondex presented 54 false positive, while JSON returned 88 incorrect match. JSON showed better results than Sondex, with the final results of 1,805 real matches for the JSON, and the 1,758 for Sondex. So the records identified as all false matches were verified individually. When the research identified that the pairs of record matches were not the same entity in real world, the records were classified as false match.
Compare the results using the record linkage techniques with the 2,866 tuberculosis cases registered at the SIN database. Jairo presented the best performance, discovering 581 new records, while Sondex was able to identify 534 new records. As next steps, we plan to apply and compare other record linkage techniques. For example, metaphone, that is another phonetic coding like Sondex, and Zero Inkler, a variation of Zero, and we also focus on the Brazilian Portuguese language, utilizing Sondex BR, a variation of Sondex.
So that is.
Thanks.
There's another question.